It's fascinating to see what has happened in our country. And I know you have paid the toll because, you know, they've gone after you. But in the end, I think a lot of us owe you a debt of gratitude because, you know, I just mentioned, and I'll just be honest with you because that's what this is about, truth, right? I used to be in the mainstream media, and I used to think that many of the things that you were saying weren't right, that you were not telling the truth about this whole business of the corporate media lying and the fact that there was this administrative state which was actually running things. And all the time you were right. Do you feel vindicated?
I mean, I do feel vindicated, but really I just want to stop this whole globalist world domination plan. I mean, I'm on record with many guests and experts 16 years ago saying that there's a project of the EU, NATO, and the neocons and the Democrats to continue to overthrow elected governments in Ukraine and then start a proxy war with Russia and move weapons up to Russia's border to trigger a full conflict that NATO believed they could continue until Russia went bankrupt and collapsed. And that's criminal. And so back then, I was just going off of what the State Department real policies were. That really wasn't in the U.S. news at the time. So my frustration has been that so much of this has been publicly known. I mean, back when they set up USAID in the 60s, it was known to be run by the CIA. Now the public understands that. So really, if you just study the academic level information, none of this is really even a secret. And so I've just been trying to get my country back from the globalists so that they don't turn us into a police state while at the same time starting a new world war that leads to nuclear war. And so that's really why I've, quote, been vindicated, because it was really always true. It's just that now you've got enough of the public and enough media people that have finally woken up to it, that the whole globalist leftovers, the British Empire, BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard system is in deep trouble because it can only operate if it was in the shadows. Now that it's out in the open, because journalists and the citizens have been opposing it, and Russia really has been, opposing it at the forefront politically, now it's in major decline. And the EU has said, as I know you know, their head economic ministers and defense ministers, we need a 20-year war with Russia as our economic plan. Yeah. We're going to bankrupt Russia and break it in 5 parts. That's a declaration of war. Well, guess what? 3.5 years later, really 16 years into this project, because it took NATO that long since 91 to get up, into Ukraine. It's really been a 30-plus year project, breaking their deals with Russia. That's failed. And Russia's already won strategically and at every level in the last 3.5 years. And obviously Putin didn't want to have to go in there. He kept warning them dozens of times, but they passed the red line. And so now Russia has won, hands down. And so Trump pragmatically is simply trying to get us out of it. But as you said in the earlier segment, the EU and NATO have bet everything on this. Their demographics, their economics are the worst of any industrialized bloc. And so their business plan is Napoleon's plan and Hitler's plan to take on the Russians. And now the Russians, that killed 24 million Germans in the toe-to-toe fight, 27 million dead Russians. They didn't have nukes back then. Now they're the biggest nuclear power. So, yeah, let's go start a fight with the meanest guy on the block. That is insanity. And Trump understands that.